Netanyahu now, he's trying to pull as many people as possible into this war with Iran because he wants to blow up the whole planet. It doesn't matter. Everything for God's chosen people. Everything for God's chosen people. So he gave this clip today where he's talking about how Iran is targeting children. And when you hear it from him, it makes you realize that these people truly, let me be very specific here, that Netanyahu and individuals that have his ideology truly believe that people actually believe them. They genuinely think that they can get away lying and people don't see right through it. So take a listen to this and let's talk about it.
If you want proof that Iran endangers the entire world, the last 48 hours have given it. In the last 48 hours, Iran targeted a civilian area. They're doing that as a mass murder weapon. Luckily, no one was killed, but that's due to luck, not their intention. Their intention is to murder civilians. Second, they fired on Jerusalem right next to the holy sites of the three monotheistic faiths, the Western Wall, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And by dint of a miracle again, none of them were hurt, but they were targeting the holy sites of the three major monotheistic religions. Third, they fired an intercontinental ballistic missile on Diego Garcia. That's 4,000 kilometers. I've been warning all the time. They have now the capacity to reach deep into Europe. They already have fired on a European country, Cyprus. They are putting everyone in their sights. And fourth, they're stopping a maritime international route, energy route, and trying to blackmail the entire world.
I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. I mean, nobody knows better. Nobody knows more about blackmail than the Israelis. So that's pretty interesting. But actually, the more he speaks, the more I recognize that he says everything that he himself has done. He says everything that Israel itself has done. They talk about targeting civilians as if they give a damn about lives that are not Israeli Jewish lives, as if they give a damn about anybody else, as if they give a damn about anybody else. And he's brazen enough to actually talk about targeting civilians. And what's so unfortunate about this is that there are actually Americans that will believe him. The Americans that are brainwashed by Fox News, those established those Americans. It's unfortunate that there's actually people that believe this, but there are. And not just Americans, there's also Europeans that are eating this stuff up and that genuinely believe now, like Piers Morgan, who literally made a post today stating, oh yeah, this should be concerning. Now we know that Iran has missiles that can reach us because it reached Diego Garcia Island, which is about 3,800 kilometers away from Iran. Previously, it was not known that Iran had missiles that could reach that far out. Well, here's the thing. Iran stated they never shot those missiles, and NATO Security General stated that there's no way to assess whether or not Iran actually shot it. They don't have enough evidence yet to make that conclusive decision. So who's to say Iran actually did shoot it? Because I can show you a list of literally like 20 different false flag operations that are documented, not just American false flag, Russian false flag, British false flag operations. Now, every single country on the planet has basically conducted some sort of false flag, espionage, psychological operation to push countries into war. This isn't anything new. This isn't a crazy, tinfoil hat conspiracy. This is how countries instigate more countries to go to war. This is what they do. So, first off, we have to recognize that there was no geopolitical benefit to Iran deciding to conduct something like that. Iran doesn't even have the means to do so, but it's a great incentive for Netanyahu to use to try to push Europeans to come into this war, because now they feel like their countries might be threatened because Iran magically now has missiles that can reach all the way to Europe. Striking Diego Garcia, was it really worth it then at that point? No, it doesn't seem like it. Iranians didn't say they do it. NATO says they can't confirm that they've done it. But the Israelis, of course, are going to go ahead and directly pin it on them. So now let's hear the rest of what this fool has to say.
What more proof do you need that this regime that threatens the entire world has to be stopped? Israel and the United States are working together for the entire world. And it's time to see the leaders of the rest of the countries join up. I'm happy to say that I can see some of them beginning to move in that direction, but more is needed. President Trump's call to have the international community confront this terrorist fanatic regime of zealots. That is a call not only for the security of America and the security of Israel, it's for the security of the entire.
So let's just stop right there. I mean, there you have it. He's there once again, trying to get the entire planet to go into war with Iran. If he succeeds in even getting one European country to join in, then I think we are the world. I mean, I'm certain the world is ran by a bunch of low IQ imbeciles that don't actually have any sort of critical thinking skills. And we're already starting to see that he is starting to push the United Kingdom into this war. I was reading today they're bringing forward their one of their submarines into the Arabian Sea. So we're already starting to see this. Is it because they think that Iran's actually a threat? No. But is it because there's a massive amount of leverage, blackmail, media headlines, you name it, against countries all around the world by the Israelis? Absolutely. So is that going to pressure them to go into this war? Absolutely. Israel pretends to be part of the West. Israel is nothing. It has none of the moral characteristics that any other country in the West does. Israel is a genocidal state, an atheistic genocidal state. The founders are atheists, Theodor Herzl, and now we have these Zionist settlers that are religious zealots that believe God gave them the land, even though Theodor Herzl stated that Israel was meant to be an outpost of civilization. That's what they called it, an outpost of civilization. Around the barbaric brown people, an outpost of civilization. But it doesn't seem like that things are going so well for the outposts. Right now, they're going around and they're pillaging the West Bank. They're wiping out Gaza. They're expanding into Lebanon. They're wiping out neighborhoods in Lebanon, wiping out towns, wiping out cities in Lebanon, murdering people all over the place. It seems like very similar to Germany when it was flailing everywhere towards the end of World War II. You notice that? Same thing with every empire. Right before they start to fall, they flail. They're just all over the place. They're extending so much. It's almost like they're thrashing everywhere because they know they're about to collapse, and they think that maybe if they overextend and conquer more, then it's gonna somehow substitute for the internal turmoil that's happening. But I previously showed you guys right now within Israel, within Israeli politics, they're done for. They're done for. Nothing was better for Israel. Nothing was better for Netanyahu specifically than October 7th. I've showed you guys that previous graph. Israel's democracy, its institutions are ran a lot different than the United States. And their Knesset assembly, it has a 4-year term, but if the coalition collapses and if certain budget bills don't pass, then the assembly collapses in on itself and they have to redo elections. Typically in Israel's history, these elections are redone every 2 to 3 years. It doesn't actually really usually reach the full 4 terms as it's written on paper. Usually they never do. 2019 was the first year that Israel's Knesset didn't last for more than 5 months. So they had to redo elections. The next one didn't last for another 5 months. They redid elections, lasted for a year. The last one, 1.6, with the whole goal. The only reason the other one lasted 1.6 years is because all of these different Israelis came together to form a coalition to take Netanyahu out. And then all of a sudden, October 7th happens. So all of the problems now that were causing the destabilization of Israel, they didn't leave. They've actually been accruing interests because the problems have only been getting exacerbated, which is why right now Israel's trying to push off elections, and Donald Trump is helping Israel push off elections because they know if they try to do elections, the Knesset's going to collapse in on itself just like it did before. Israel's unsustainable, and the only thing keeping it afloat right now is the fact that they're in war with Iran. It at least keeps everybody together enough to focus on this war. And the second they look inward, the whole thing's going to collapse, which is why I say this, and I mean this so seriously. I don't think Israel's going to make it to 2028. I really don't. It's going to be the beginning of the collapse, and it's going to be something very noticeable. And it's not just because of this sort of stuff, but it's also because of the fact that they don't have the money anymore. And no U.S. aid could fix Israel right now. All of the high-earning, wealthy Jewish people that are, high income, smart, they're in STEM, in tech, in engineering, biology, whatever else. They're all secular, and they're all leaving Israel right now because they have the means to leave, and they're sought out in the international market for jobs. And they're recognizing, okay, if everything's getting bombed, They're not really religious. They don't have this Zionist. They're not Zionists in the religious sense where they feel like they have to settle the land in that way. They're more so Zionists in that they just want Israel for other means, for whatever other reasons. But a lot of them are atheists and they're leaving. But the ones that are staying are the Haredi Jews that actually live off Israel, that need stipends because they have so many kids. They have an average fertility rate of six children, and they live off stipends from the Israeli government, and they're becoming a larger and larger demographic. Right now, they're about 18%, and they're becoming a larger demographic. It's unsustainable. So I think Israel will collapse by 2028. We'll see. Maybe I'm too much of an optimistic. I hope so. I pray for it every night. I'm seeing people right now online, with everything going on, and I'm seeing all of these Israelis say, pray for Israel, pray for Israel, pray for Israel during these Iran strikes. And I want them to know that the reason these strikes are happening is because I have been praying for Israel. So everybody's been praying for Israel. They keep saying, pray for Israel. This is why these strikes are happening. We've been praying for this. So it's great. It's great. Let it collapse now. We're done. And again, I don't want to violate community guidelines. So this is not intended to promote hate, harassment, or violence towards any group of people. I'm just reporting on facts with a lighthearted tinge to it. So, but that's it for this video, guys. If you found it interesting, I'd appreciate if you guys just went ahead and click the subscribe button. Also, one of the best ways you can support my channel is by super gifts and chat. So I'd really appreciate that. Let me go through any of the comments here right now. But that's about it for this, guys. Otherwise, I will see you guys in another video. Take care and have a great day.